Hello, you're watching HW News. This is me, Anusha. Well, we have often heard opposition accusing the central government selling off PSUs like Air India, BPCL, HAL, and many such more, and sadly created nothing in the past 6 years. So, employees of BSNL, which is a proud India's public sector units, are increasingly turning restive. The unions have called for industrial action in the coming days and weeks to protest the Narendra Modi government's open exploration of the proposal to either privatize or divest government equity in them. Now, the employees have been protesting since long. They claim that the government is trying to kill BSNL. So, to understand what exactly the matter is, we talk to Mr. P Abhimanyu. He is the General Secretary of BSNL Employee Union. Well, welcome to the show, sir. First of all, BSNL was constantly at a war with the central government that the PSUs in the Indian telecom market was always ignored. Who do you think is responsible for the situation, sir, for BSNL?
It's a purely government, none else than the government. Because the government has been continuously adopting a hostile attitude towards the public sector telecom companies, BSNL and MTNL, being the leader of the BSNL trade union movement. I very well know that whether it is the erstwhile UPA government or the present BJP government, all the steps that they have taken are to strengthen the private operators and to cut size BSNL. And that is the reason why BSNL is facing a very miserable condition today.
So, you mean that the process of weakening BSNL began in the UPA era?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I want to tell you, earlier the government service provider in the telecommunication sector was the Department of Communications, Telecommunications, DOT called. It was converted into a corporation only for privatizing it subsequently. So, BSNL has been formed only with the sole intent of privatizing it subsequently. But unfortunately to the government, there is a strong trade union movement in BSNL. This trade union movement is a continuation of the trade union movement of the Department of Telecommunications, and we have fought various battles with the government, strikes and other campaign among the general public of the country against disinvestment, against privatization, against compulsory retirement, and that is why BSNL is able to continue as a public sector company for the past 19 years. The mobile service was started in the year 1995, means licenses were given to the private operators in 1995, but at that time the government service provider was DOT. DOT was not allotted with the mobile license, and after the formation of BSNL in 2000, BSNL was able to roll out its mobile service only in October 2002. That is 7 years after private companies rolled out their mobile service. This is a classic example how through its policy decisions the government of India has weakened this public sector company. And even though we were given license for rolling out mobile services 7 years after the private operators, within 2 years of starting our mobile service, that is we started our mobile service in October 2002. By December 2004, the mobile customers of BSNL were almost equal to the mobile customers of Airtel, because we were having optic fiber network throughout the country, our own lands, buildings and very experienced engineers and staff. So we were within 2 years we were able to catch up with the private operators And I want to tell in the financial year 2004-5, BSNL earned a net profit of 10,000 crore rupees, even though severe competition was there. And in fact, I want to tell that 1 lakh more officers and employees were there on roll in the year 2004-5. Despite all these facts, BSNL earned a net profit of 10,000 crore rupees. And thereafter, during the UPA 1 regime, anti-BSNL steps were taken, and that step taken by the then government was not to allow BSNL to procure equipments for the expansion of its mobile services. In 2007, a tender floated by BSNL to procure 45 million line equipments was cancelled by the then communication minister, Mr. A. Raja, against which we went on a one-day strike, and thereafter, almost up to 2012, BSNL was not allowed to procure equipments. All our tenders were cancelled one after another. In fact, in the year 2010, BSNL floated a mega tender to procure 93 million mobile line equipments, and that was also cancelled by the government. The funny reason provided by the government was that in that tender, Huawei was the L1 tender, bidder. Lowest bidder was a Chinese company. BSNL is a government company and we cannot afford to buy equipments from the Chinese company. That was the objection raised by the Home Ministry, and that tender was also cancelled. But fact remains, even in 2010, almost all the private operators were procuring equipment only from the Chinese companies, either Huawei or ZTE, because the quality of products as well as competitive prices. When private operators were procuring equipments from the Chinese companies, why should BSNL be prohibited from procuring equipments from the same Chinese company? Anyway, they wanted some lame excuse, so that tender was also cancelled. So from 2007 up to 2012, BSNL was not allowed to procure equipments, and this is the biggest reason why BSNL is facing a disaster today. Because from 2006 to 2012, it was the period when the mobile services boomed in the country and BSNL was not able to take the advantage. Anyway, due to our continuous struggles, BSNL was allowed to procure equipment from 2013 onwards, and thereafter we expanded our mobile network and we started competing with the private operators. And BSNL, from all these setbacks, BSNL came out and it started earning operating profit from 2014 onwards. 2014-15, 2015-16 and 2016-17, BSNL was earning operating profit, and in fact, in his Independence Day speech in 2015, Prime Minister Narendra Modi proudly declared from the Red Fort that because of the steps taken by his government, BSNL has started earning operating profit. But thereafter, Reliance Jio started its service in September 2016, and everyone knows they started practicing predatory pricing.
Well, I would like to add to this question, sir, that if a successive government did not let BSNL become a profit-making company, so even the Modi government after coming to power did not help to revive the BSNL?
Absolutely not. Modi government is only giving lip service. In fact, the severe crisis being faced by BSNL can be attributed to the pro-Reliance Jio and anti-BSNL policies being adopted by the government. I was telling that Jio started its service in September 2016, and right from day one, Jio is practicing predatory pricing. 2 days back, the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has given a stern warning to Amazon and Flipkart that they should not practice predatory pricing. because a complaint has come from the Indian traders. But there was a hue and cry that Reliance Jio is practicing predatory pricing. Government did not take any action. Even I can tell the objections raised by the telecom secretary. He was Mr. J.S. Deepak, a senior IAS officer and a secretary to the Department of Telecom. He raised an objection to the TRAI, and he wrote a letter to the TRAI stating that Jio is practicing predatory pricing and TRAI should take action on that. Immediately and unceremoniously, J.S. Deepak was shunted out from the Department of Telecommunication. He was dumped in the Department of Commerce only because he raised his voice against predatory pricing. See, government is receiving license fee and spectrum charge from all the telecom operators based on their revenue. It is a revenue sharing system. Whenever the revenue of the telecom companies are high, government will also get a high license fee and spectrum charge, and on the contrary, when their revenue goes down, the revenue collection of the government will also be objected, and this was precisely the objection raised by Mr. J.S. Deepak. But he was shunted out of Department of Telecom, and Jio has been allowed to practice predatory pricing. And not only this, so many steps taken by the DOT, the TRAI to help Reliance Jio. It is very clear because in all of a sudden in October 2017, the TRAI slashed down the IUC charge, inter-usage connectivity charge. It was cut down by 47% only to help Reliance Jio, because at that time the other operators were having more number of connections and more calls from Jio's network were landing on the networks of other operators, as a result of which Jio had to pay high IUC charge to other operators. So the IUC charge was slashed down. In fact, it was slashed down by 52%, not 47, 52%, and it helped Jio in a big way. After starting its service in September 2016, Jio was continuously running into loss for 15 months, and only after the step taken by TRAI to cut down the IUC charge, Jio started making profit from the next quarter onwards. So these are the measures.
Why rules are bent for one private telecom company? What do you think, sir?
It is an open secret. It is an open secret. Everybody knows in this country that the government is more considerate towards people like Ambani and Adani. Precisely that is the reason. And in fact, during the UPA regime, it was the other private operators like Airtel, Idea, Vodafone that were benefited. But in the Narendra Modi government, it is the Jio. Other operators are affected like BSNL.
You have talked about the predatory pricing. Can you please tell our audience what exactly is predatory pricing and how it affects a company, the government and the customers as well?
See, predatory pricing, to tell it in a very simple way, any commodity or any service sold below the cost price, it is predatory pricing. And predatory pricing was Jio started practicing predatory pricing. Only one goal: Jio wants all other operators, service providers to shut down their shops. That is the only. And we were hearing a lot of names in the telecom sector earlier: Videocon, Telenor, Aircel, Tata Teleservices, and Reliance Infocom. All those companies are closed down. There were around 15 companies. All the companies have been either closed down or merged with the bigger companies. Now there are only 4 companies: Jio, Vodafone Idea. Vodafone has got merged with Idea, Airtel and BSNL. So today Vodafone Idea is running in a very big loss, Airtel is running in a loss, BSNL is running in a loss, and only Jio is making profit. And so far, see, the other operators started their 4G service 4 years back. BSNL is not able to start because BSNL has not been allotted with the 4G spectrum. BSNL is a 100% government company, and it is the duty of the government to allot 4G spectrum to BSNL because our owner is the government. And what the government is telling, no, we will not give 4G spectrum to you. Just like other operators, you also have to buy 4G spectrum. You have to pay money and buy 4G spectrum from us. But what then we gave a suggestion, okay, if you do not want to give it for free, you allot 4G spectrum to BSNL, and whatever the cost is, according to that, you raise the your paid up capital in the company. That is called capital infusion. Government is making capital infusion in a big way in the public sector banks, and why can't it make capital infusion in BSNL? The cost of 4G spectrum comes to 14,000 crore rupees. We told you allot 4G spectrum to BSNL and raise your paid up capital in BSNL to that extent by 14,000 crore. So it will be only a paper adjustment, and the other operators also cannot blame that the level playing field is being disturbed, that BSNL they have to pay, buy 4G spectrum while BSNL is given 4G spectrum for free. That complaint cannot come. But what stops the government? But very big objections are coming from the finance ministry. No, we cannot do that. Government need not spend even a single paisa from its pocket. It has to allot the spectrum and it has to make some book adjustment. And because of the anti-BSNL or pro-private steps taken by the government, BSNL is very much affected today. In fact, our revenue collection has come down very drastically from 32,000 crore rupees per annum. It has come down almost to 18,000, 17,000 crore rupees now. It is only because of the predatory pricing of Jio. Jio was giving unlimited free voice call, and you know the cost of 1 GB data, it was around rupees 300 before Jio came into the picture. But Jio started giving everything free, taking some nominal fee. It was giving unlimited free voice call, and it was giving 1 GB data free, and thereafter it increased to 2 GB data free per day, 3 GB data, and now even 4 GB, 5 GB data are being given free every day. Okay, before 4 years, the price of 1 GB data was 300 rupees. It cannot be that much. But how companies are offering 3 GB, 4 GB data per day free? It is completely unviable, uneconomical, and only because of the unhealthy predatory pricing initiative triggered by Reliance Jio. All these things are happening. I can say the entire telecom sector in the country has gone to the dogs today. The total debt of telecom sector is 8 lakh crore rupees, and mind, a bulk of this loan has been taken from the public sector bank, and a major portion of this bank loan are going to become non-performing assets or bad debts, and again it is going to hit the public sector banks. The debt of Vodafone Idea is almost 1.8 lakh crore rupees. And the loan of Airtel is also equal, more than 1 lakh crore rupees, and the loan of Jio is said to be more than 2 lakh crore rupees. The entire telecom sector is in a very huge debt, and almost all the companies are running into loss. Jio claims that it is earning profit, but there is an US organization called Bernstein. It has been published in Business Standard also. That company, it is a reputed international company, Bernstein. It has reported that Jio is cooking up its books. The entire turmoil was caused by the disturbance caused by Reliance Jio, and the government is lending a silent support to Jio.
So doesn't it mean like it is an effort to monopolize the entire telecom sector?
Exactly. Even in the soft drink segment, you have two MNCs, Coke and Pepsi. But if the trend continues, there will be only one company in India, that is Jio. Jio initially promised its customers, we will provide you unlimited free voice call. But now they have started charging 6 paisa per minute for the calls landing in other networks, and very soon, and again yesterday they have taken another all the cheap data tariff plans they have cancelled. Earlier there was, I think, a tariff plan for 52 rupees. Jio was having another tariff plan lesser than 52 rupees. All those plans are cancelled now. Jio's minimum plan, tariff plan starts with 98 rupees. So slowly now Jio is also starting to increase its tariff, and tariff cannot be this much low. See, for TV channels, TRAI has fixed the rate. This channel costs this much of rupees per month, and why can't there be a minimum tariff for voice call or for data? I think a minimum tariff should be fixed by the TRAI, that is the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. That is the job of the regulator, but unfortunately the regulator is supporting Jio for reasons best known to everyone in this country. And what is going to do? But one thing, how BSNL matters for the people. Today you see, BSNL is a government company, and only because of the existence of BSNL as a government company, the tariffs are being regulated. If BSNL is not there in the picture, suppose if BSNL is closed down, then what will happen? You have heard about the cartels. Yes, in various industries, private operators form cartels among themselves and loot the people. If BSNL is not there, and I do not know how long Airtel and Vodafone Idea can continue if this trend continues. And ultimately, if the entire telecom industry is monopolized by Jio, what will happen? They will dictate the terms. Whatever tariff spelled out by them has to be paid by the people of the country. So, in the interest of the larger public, the existence of BSNL as a government company is very much essential. And even when Vodafone Idea and Airtel are losing their customers in a big way, I am proud to say every month BSNL is adding at least 10 lakh mobile customers to its customer base. Government should immediately allot 4G spectrum to BSNL, and we do not want even a single naya paisa free from the government. We do not want any subsidy. What we demand, government should ensure BSNL with a soft loan. Soft loan means the rate of interest will be very nominal and the period of repayment will be very high, like 20 years. See, the government of India has extended soft loan to 63 countries to increase, to strengthen friendship. Government of India has extended soft loan to 63 countries, which amounts to 1,96,000 crore rupees. This has been reported in the media. So, when government of India can extend soft loan to 63 countries, why can't it extend a soft loan to BSNL? Because we do not want anything free from the government, not even one naya paisa as financial assistance or subsidy. You give us soft loan, each and every paisa will be repaid by BSNL. Immediately we require capital investment for rolling out our 4G service, and definitely BSNL will come out of the present crisis. But unfortunately, a section of the media is also creating panic among the people. Maybe 1 week or 10 days back, there was a very big news that Finance Ministry wants BSNL to be closed down. Finance Ministry is against the revival of BSNL. All these news are coming, and I do not know whether intentionally such news is being planted in the media to create panic among the BSNL customers so that they will migrate to the private operators. All these things are happening, but what we say, let the government provide 4G spectrum to BSNL, let the government provide a soft loan to BSNL, certainly we will come out of the crisis.
Now, how many times did BSNL apply for 4G? Was it rejected by the government? Any reason were given, and why this delay in allotting a 4G spectrum?
We were having Mr. Manoj Sinha as our minister. He was the Honorable Minister of State for Communication. More than once he has given statement that BSNL would be allotted with 4G spectrum. Even after Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad taking over as the Honorable Minister of Communications, he has made statement BSNL will be allotted with 4G spectrum. But why it is not being allotted? Whether BSNL will be allotted 4G spectrum only after all other operators get 5G spectrum? It will be unfair. Government is intentionally delaying, and we think it is only to benefit Jio.
Now, if BSNL gets 4G services in 2020, still a lot of telecom companies have already followed the suit of Jio and going for predatory pricing. Will BSNL do the same to survive in the market?
No. According to us, this predatory pricing cannot continue for long. Recently, you might have heard that the international rating company Credit Suisse has downgraded Reliance Industries. It has downgraded Reliance Industries because its debt burden has increased tremendously. That is one of the reasons, and there are so many other reasons. So there is a compulsion for Reliance Jio also to increase its tariff. That is evident from charging this 66 paisa per minute for calls going to other networks. And also recently, yesterday, Jio has announced that it is abolishing its low tariff plans, and now the lowest tariff plan is 98 rupees. So in a way, Jio is also increasing its tariff, and this shows that the predatory pricing cannot continue for long, because Jio is also under tremendous pressure to increase its tariff. Otherwise, it will face a very big financial problem. One thing. Another thing, by starting 4G service itself, by itself BSNL cannot come out of the crisis. But at the same time, see, rolling out of our 4G service is very important for the survival of the company.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. Well, this certainly raises a lot of question on the government's behavior towards BSNL and favoring only one private sector company. Definitely, the government must answer to these questions, but for now, what it needs to do is ring a relief package for the BSNL to survive the market competition. And do let us know what you think in the comment box below. For more news updates, log on to www.hwnews.in. We had this discussion a day before the government announced the merger of BSNL and MTNL, though the process will take time. In the meantime, MTNL will act as a subsidiary of BSNL. This was informed by Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.